essentially what we have to do in this scenario, is we have to crack the hash. So yeah, this is pretty much the only option that we can do from here, more or less. So I'm going to show it like this first. And you see that it's not able to crack anything, right? It's just an empty password. This account isn't really enabled. But yeah, so when it comes to cracking NT hashes specifically, it's very, very, very important to specify NT, right? You will see it in the notes right here. Cracking NT hashes may be needed for the RDP access, for instance, right? So again, I've already had it in my notes. But if you do it like so, we will now be able to crack the username, or sorry, the password of Brian. So that is beautiful. So we can now go back to our XP RDP command, just to password instead of pass the hash. And then we can enter the actual password. And there we go, right? So you can make the font size a bit bigger and yeah. This is the salmon system from earlier with the VinRAM session. And if we take a look at who we are, we see that we are in the built-in administrator group. Group used for deny only. So it's configured in such a way that you won't just get the immediate shell over SNB, even though if we open PowerUp, or PowerShell rather, this is an administrator, right? So this is just a basic UIC bypass, but it's not really a bypass, right? When you have GUI access, so yeah. We now have basically all the rights. So from here, we can transfer over Mimikatz, or we can once again do the same technique, which is just, I find it more convenient. You just do... So we can take J Bailey, for instance. So local group, administrators, J Bailey, and awesome. Found SE backup prev on client 1, dumped hashes, cracked hash for Brian, used it for RDP access. He was local admin. Then we prepare to dump hashes. Awesome. So then we can just go back back here. So netexec, SNB. Let's try this. And now it says pond because we're local admin. And now we can do all of the stuff again, right? So we dump some hashes. We just pretty much did that using evil VinRAM. Okay. But LSA, for instance, we were not able to get all of these users, right? Because this is the domain admin, not just the local admin, and another user called A. Morales. So this is beautiful. And then if we take a look at the LSS with, for instance, the LSS module, then we can see that we have an ongoing Brian session, and this is an empty hash, right? Haiti. Yeah, but it would recognize if we try to crack it. But yeah, awesome stuff. Then what we have to do once again, so also if you remember from earlier, A. Morales, if you go back to the bloodhound data, and we go back to the all domain admins, you can see that A. Morales is a domain admin. Also something very important I want to show you, why you shouldn't rely overly on bloodhound. if we remember the, let's see, ADS user, we were able to RDP with ADS, right? Yeah, we were able to RDP with ADS on client 2. But if we take a look at ADS and you see member of, it doesn't say member of remote desktop users, right? So ADS was added specifically from client 2 into the remote desktop users on that machine. So it's very important to not blindly trust Bloodhound. So when you have basically the important lesson here is that Bloodhound will definitely reliably find stuff like DC sync and Kerber roasting and ASIP roasting, but you can't always trust the fact that you can see from the member of groups if you'll be able to RDP or not. So when you have credentials, you always just want to spray it across every single protocol that you can authenticate on all of the different machines in the network that you can, okay? So that's very important that you remember. But yeah, we were able to dump all of these beautiful hashes. Now we want to format it once again, so we can just easily pass it to John. Just like this. And then let's try to crack a Morales. We tried to crack administrators earlier, but yeah, let's try cracking a Morales. Again, this will take a time, so don't be impatient. It took over 10 minutes or 15 minutes to crack the previous host or the previous hashes on the previous host, so yeah. Trying to crack the following. So yeah, let me just be back if this cracks or not. And awesome. So 15% in and 11 minutes in, we finally get the password. So that is awesome. And it cracks. So this user is the main admin. Now we can try that, a Morales. A Morales, like this, I believe. And then we can try that across the different IPs. A Morales like so. There we go. And just pawn. This is because the user is a domain admin. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. But another thing as well, this is another change that we made on the system, right? On client 1. So we can just now revert this as well. So we can do J Bailey and then delete. So they're no longer a domain admin. You can check net local group administrators like so. And we see that domain admins Brian and administrator are domain or local admins. And that's correct. And I believe also in Windows tasks as well. We have these, right? So there we go. Now we have basically cleaned all of that. We can close the RDP connection. And we can now do 10.2.4 because that is the domain controller. And we can now run the beautiful command entity_sdet like so. And if you remember, entity_sdet is what you can do on the domain controller like so. And it will dump all. It's always beautiful to say. It dumps all of the domain users in the entire domain. And yeah, in a passly hash format as well. So that is beautiful. So we can take, for instance, the same user, Immorales, and I believe we can just take the hash of it and then do the same. Let's try it again. And yes, we can, right? So this is essentially the domain and the Active Directory chain. Once again, if you ever get stuck on the chains in general, definitely recommend taking a look at this list and just really going over it and making sure you have done all of it. I recommend not trusting these groups so much in terms of like, oh, it's not a part of remote desktop users, I shouldn't try to RDP. As you can see, that can be very deceptive. And I recommend trying, for instance, if you run PowerUp and then WinPeace, you definitely need to check for stuff like for port forwarding attack paths as well. You need to check if there is pivoting on the machine, right? And no, you do not need to be administered to set up pivoting with Chisel or Legolo. So if it has two network interfaces, I definitely recommend that you just set up pivoting, and especially if you can only reach one machine, right, in a domain. That's a strong hint that it's pivoting as well. And yeah, just really go through this and take everything that I've taught and take it with you on the exam. And yeah, do all the action steps that is outside in the WAP as well. And I believe in you. I hope you really enjoyed this chain and have an awesome day. Now, if you enjoy how I teach and you enjoy this video and you want to take the OSCP, then what are you doing not being in this course? It's over 15 hours long and it covers everything that you need. If you're only watching the videos on YouTube, you're missing out a lot because it's over 15 hours of content. You will get access to the VIP section on Discord where you can ask me any questions and you can study alongside all the other students in our course. Right now, you will also get access to this checklist right here, which will cover at least 95% plus of all the attacks and all the techniques that you need to know for every single section. Not only initial access, but AD, pivoting, Linux, and Windows privilege escalation. And the goal for you is to reach proficient or at least basic competence on all of them. That's one of the things. We also have this entire roadmap right here, where there's a bunch of action steps and a bunch of cheat sheets inside all of these hyperlinks that I can't show you in this video. But once you have completed all of them, you know for a fact that you will be ready to get into the OSCP exams and absolutely crush it. If that sounds interesting to you, to get all of this in 15 hours plus of video footage of someone who has OSCP, who explains different attacks and techniques and methodologies, it's going to be invaluable to you. Now, some people are confused with the offer. If you're interested in the notes, these are the notes that you will constantly see me use in the videos, right? They're pretty much recommended to go hand in hand with the course, and I use them constantly in the course itself, right? So I think you'll find it extremely useful. That's also why we have the third offer, which is the bundle, where you can buy both of these together for a discount. I hope that clarifies things. Best of luck on your OSCP journey. I really hope this will be massively useful to you. I'll see you in the next video.